just wanted to go back to something y'all said earlier about putting your significant other's desires above yours.
Please, yeah.
I want to push back on that. I think that you're all liars, and I think that the only reason in a relationship you are able to put your significant other's needs or desires above yours is because yours are being met. But in reality, it's always about you, and it's always been about you, because if you're not satisfied in the relationship, right, then like you're probably going to leave. Or if you're not going to leave, you're going to be miserable, right?
Welcome to another week of StoryTime podcast. It feels good. It feels good. I know I like to say that saying a lot, but it really does this time, especially with these soft sofas that we sitting on, right?
Yeah. For those of you who are watching and not just listening, you'll see we're in a different background than we're usually in. We got some nice sofas here. We're like nice and relaxed in the living room. So a little change of scenery.
Right.
This is episode 7, right?
Oh, episode 7. Wow. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, it really has. Seven episodes, about 8 or 9 weeks that we've been working on this podcast, filming wise. So it takes dedication. It really does, especially to be here every single Friday, day in, day out, and really put some effort into it. But I do want to start by introducing our guest today. We have to my left here. We have John. I kind of want to speak to our audience.
Tell us who you are, John.
I'm John. I used to go to school with these 3 guys right here, but I had to drop out. But I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to dive into all the points you have to make today.
Yeah, and there is a reason that we have John on as a guest today, and we'll kind of talk about getting to it with the topic and everything about his situation, his circumstances, and how he's been able to overcome those. So, Z, talk to us. How's the week?
Man, the week wasn't too bad, but this morning, I got a little story for y'all. So I wake up to find out that the credit card company and my bank are they're conspiring together to try and run me for all my money.
That sounds like corporate America.
Yeah. Anyway, so like I was trying to make a payment on my credit card a while back, and keep in mind, like I always pay my credit card like way before the money is due, and so I like put $100 payment on there, and it comes like from my bank account to my credit card. Well, for whatever reason, like the $100 payment, I guess, didn't go through. Something about like I didn't have all the money in my bank, so maybe I accidentally
spent it all at blue chip.
I didn't spend it all.
Add up.
But apparently my account like went below 100 or something, and so when they tried to process it, it didn't work. Anyway, so when it didn't go through, I put in like a second payment. But apparently the way that their stuff works is after that first one, didn't go through, they tried it again. So then, since I tried it again on my own and they tried the first one again, so now I got two $100 payments, and they're both like trying to go through like at the same time. And so my bank account obviously didn't have the money in it because I wasn't expecting that. And so every time that the payment would go through and get canceled and come back, it hits me with a $35 fee. I got hit with like 3 of them $35 fees, so I got over $100 in fees alone. So I woke up to my bank account negative this morning.
Damn.
And I'm calling the credit card company, and I'm calling the bank, and like they couldn't really do too much about it. They're like, oh yeah, the payment's like out in the air, and so now we're just waiting for it to process and stuff. So I really think they set it up. They did it on purpose, right? They set up that the method of payment just to run me for some late
pay
fees.
it on time. Put it on auto pay.
Right.
That's 2 weeks in a row that's in his bank account. It went below 100.
Hey, look,
This is some money management.
look, last week at the casino, I never dipped into my bank account. That was all straight money I got for my birthday.
Okay. What we got next? Malik, tell us about your week.
Man, I am glad to be on the other side of this week. First half, nothing but midterms. But the second half was our little fall break. So they gave us a 2-day break. So I've really been trying to maximize off of that. But other than that, just been relaxing, taking it day by day.
2 days not enough, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
It's really not.
I really needed 2 weeks, and then by then, hopefully, I would have been ready to go back to school. Like like after a certain point, like you just be ready to go back.
Right.
So I was hoping for that, but 2 days, that's all they gave me. But I'm gonna be grateful.
Kabir, how's Amazon treating you?
That's all right. I'm almost out of there though.
Oh,
if I show up late one more day, they gonna kick me to the curb.
But, so tell us about that. So have you showed up late this week?
I'm not gonna be late no more because now they're doing like this incentive program. So if you just show up your 4 days, you get like a bonus.
That's crazy.
Because it's nearing the holidays, and between November 11th to January 1st, you gotta be on time and complete your route. And no call-offs, no nothing, because it's like the busiest time of the year.
Yeah,
so
holiday season.
Yeah, they want everyone there, all hands on deck. So like, that little incentive just to show up my 4 days, that's perfectly fine.
I seen that they were doing some kind of like where they like cover like all of your tuition. Is that true? Or like
they do, but you gotta be there for a certain amount of time for them to do that.
I figured that, but like I seen that they did like something like new, because like at first it was like part of it, but I seen like more recently they were like we'll cover all of it, but I still wonder like how long. Because I think it was only like 90 days.
Something like
for like the partial. It wasn't that. Wasn't that.
You would have to go
you can't
work
get benefits until 90 days.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So I do kind of want to step into our guests in the sphere of that. So starting off here, we kind of want to, before we bring in to introduce the topic, I do want to talk about a more, they're both pretty serious topics, but I do want to talk about more of a laid back topic, and that's John being a father. So John, can you kind of start off by telling us a little bit what you've learned throughout your process of being a father and how?
Well, I learned, I guess the most important thing that I've learned is patience. You really have to have patience when you're a father, because sometimes the baby takes forever to go to sleep, or she's always crying. You just can't always get mad. I'm not gonna say like I don't get mad. I do get mad sometimes, but like at the end of the day, you have to know like, oh yeah, she's just a baby. She doesn't know anything. You know, you have to have patience. And
he's the father of a girl, by the way.
Yeah,
right.
Her name is Hazel. So, you know, being a father is definitely a new experience for me. You know, like struggling with jobs. It's really hard because I try to like do everything I can for her. Yeah. So basically another important lesson is you just gotta do what you gotta do to help raise her and have her make sure she has a better life. So those two things are probably the most important lessons I've learned.
Yeah, so on that topic of like patience, and you say sometimes you get mad, is there like an internal struggle where like you're mad
but
like you're also kind of mad at yourself for being mad because she's just a baby, and it's like who am I getting mad at a baby? So
like it especially happens when like you don't have enough time to sleep. I guess like the first 2 weeks were really, really hard for me because I just did not sleep, and I didn't believe that, you know, what all these new parents kept saying, like, oh, you're gonna be struggling with sleep for like the next 6-7 months. I'm like, no, that's not true. There's no way. I love sleeping. And so when that actually happened, it really, you know, affected me, and I was like, dang. I have to get up at 3 a.m. I have to change a diaper, feed her, rock her.
Oh man,
like, it's hard, but I do it because I love her. So
yeah. So have you ever seen the movie? What's my man's name? Comedian Kevin. Fatherhood. Have you ever seen the movie Fatherhood?
Is that Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
I think I have seen it.
On Netflix, where
on Netflix,
yeah. I still need to watch that.
And
I think I've
seen it
too.
He had a daughter, so how did you kind of react?
I don't remember exactly the movie. I think I watched it a long time ago, so maybe
it's kind of new, so.
Right.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Is it new?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like 2020, so I don't think you've seen it.
Maybe I was talking about where Kevin Hart was helping out that old man.
Oh, I was just watching
what is that called? I don't remember. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah. I was just watching.
I thought like he had a daughter in the movie too, or something.
Oh, it was like
when he was helping the old man,
old wealthy man.
Is
that the Get Hard movie?
Right, I think
so.
Yeah. He's like getting him ready for prison.
No.
That was different. That's different.
It's where a guy doesn't have any like use of his legs, and he goes
right. He's paralyzed.
He basically hires Kevin Hart to like take care of him.
That sounds
that had what's his name in it?
Called.
Donald Glover or Danny Glover.
Yeah.
I remember. What's his name? Death Wish guy.
Anyway, explain Fatherhood because I don't know.
The Upside is the movie that you guys are referring to.
Oh, okay.
It was the older man, but no. So Fatherhood, he actually had a daughter where he became a widow because his wife passed away, and I'm explaining really to you because I think you guys have seen it. But his wife passed away, and then he all the pressure became on him because like a
single father.
Because his wife's family as well as his family didn't really have think that he could handle the child, right? So he had,
I have seen it. I know what you're talking about.
8-year-old daughter,
yeah,
and no one thought that he could handle it, and his friends were just.
And his wife's mother was like begging him to like
just
take the kid. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, that was a good movie. I did relate to him a lot in some of the scenes, especially like at night where he was just like making a bottle and trying to feed it to her. He's like struggling. He's like, just go to sleep. Like that's mainly one of the things I really related to. But I like that movie. You can relate to a lot if you're a father.
What do you do to relieve your stress of the day dealing with Hazel?
Mostly just the things I like to do. Either that's like hanging out with friends or... hanging out with friends is like mainly the number one because they also like to see Hazel. And so like they give me a chance to take her out of my arms or something, like hold her for a little bit, get her relax a little bit. Or when she's sleeping, I make music at night. In another room so I don't wake her up, but that's something else that also helps me,
Yeah, I mean, why are you talking about go ahead and plug yourself. We're talking about your music.
Well, I'm a rapper. My name's DVSX. I'm on SoundCloud. Make music, emo type stuff, or hip hop, R&B type stuff. So, if you like the vibe, you should check me out.
Yeah, and that album that I've been promoting on every podcast, well, my man's DVSX is featured on it. So
yes, sir.
You guys gotta peep that when it drops.
Yes, sir.
Now, I do have a question when it comes to making decisions, because now it's like you're more like in the real world. It's like you said you did call it quits with school, right? For very good reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's it been since making that transition and really stepping up to the plate when it comes to I'm in the real world now, and it's like it reminds me of this song, I forget the name of it, where she's like, no more calling what's her name? It's a Paramore or something like that. No more like you guys listen to Paramore? Or what's her name?
I know
it's
Paramore,
like,
I don't know what song you're talking about.
It's like no more crying to your mommies now, or you're in the real world.
I know the song.
It is Paramore.
I do know the song, but I don't know exactly the words.
But like I think to that song every time that I kind of think about like after graduation, or if I wasn't in school right now. So can you kind of speak to that, being off on your own, actually having a daughter now, and actually making real life decisions, and what would you kind of say to that, and how hard has the transition been?
Well, it's hard because I was just under my parents' roof and they were just taking care of me, so I didn't really know what to do yet, because I would always ask them what to do. But being out on my own now is definitely challenging because I'm learning a lot of different things, especially to do like with cars and stuff like that.
You can only imagine.
Taking in your car, or changing the oil, or like even just having a kid in general. I would say like taking that action to go out on your own is definitely like pretty scary and challenging, but it's not like the hardest thing to do. You can definitely do it, but definitely have like friends to help you guide you through it, or talk to people that have been there and done that. That would definitely help you, in that process.
Yeah, so for like young adults who are thinking about just going straight into like the workforce instead of going to college, do you have any advice for them, or anything you wish you knew when you like transitioned from college to getting a job and stuff?
All I know is that you can always go back if you make a schedule and make some money for a couple years. You can always go back, or you can take online classes, but there's always that option to go back.
That's a good point.
But for work, you just try to do the best that you can as soon as you dropped out of college. Just find the best job that you can, and I guess just stick with it. If you don't like it, you can always move to another one. So, yeah.
Anyone else have any questions to kind of raise for John before we kind of go into our topic for the day?
Let's get it.
We're good.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so let's get into a podcast, man. You ready for this, John?
Yeah, let's
all right.
go.
This one's kind of deep, and I think it kind of resonates with us all. I know it kind of stemmed from many conversations that we had over the last week, over the last few weeks, but it needs to be something that we kind of think about every day. So it came from, and it was funny because we had conversations in real life with, we've been doing something like, what do we like to call it? A couples intervention or whatever we like to call it. But it really is good when it comes to discovering a lot about not only yourself, but between you and your partner. But I was listening to another podcast, which I'm always listening to another podcast, one particularly, shout out to Secrets to Success, but they said something on there that I really thought resonated with not only us, but a lot of our audience as well. So we kind of want to share this with you for better good. But it says, do not consider someone else's life to the point where you stop considering yours. So what I kind of want to raise here is that, and I got a lot of notes on it, but to kind of break the ice on it, do not consider someone else's life to the point where you stop considering yours. What do you guys kind of think about that, and what kind of first initial thoughts rings a bell for you guys when speaking about this or thinking about this?
Pretty much like, don't put someone else ahead of yourself that you don't really value, that they deserve to be ahead of yourself. Like if you don't think yourself, if you don't think that person value is more than yourself, don't put them ahead of you, if that makes sense. Yeah.
That's interesting. I actually interpreted it slightly differently, right? I interpret this like put no one, right? Like put no one so far, like uphold no one so much that you don't really like uphold yourself or like look out for.
Or at least put them equal.
But
debatable, right? Or explain.
Like a life partner.
Okay.
If you're married, you want them to be as equal as to you. You don't want to like I'm not saying cherish the other person, your significant other, but if you guys both try to have the same common goal, you both want to reach that same common goal. You want to put their needs and their priorities just as high as yours.
That's a good feature. When does it come to the point of, should we put us before, and like what you mentioned, a relationship? Should we put ourselves before the relationship, or is it like a equal platform there? What do you guys think about that? Like, is it
50-50 is kind of dying out. 50-50? I don't think women nowadays want to do that 50-50 stuff, but there are some that want to do it. It's really just how you like play the field in the dating world, because some women just want to be taken care of, so they're gonna want to be ahead of you. You know what I'm saying?
You give them 80 and they give you 50 or something.
Yeah, if you want to be equal to somebody, or if you just want to be the number one in your life, you're better off just
What do you think? What do you think of that?
I think my initial interpretation from what you said, is like, I guess, different from what everyone else kind of got out of it. Can you repeat what you said real quick?
Yeah. Do not consider someone else's life to the point where you stop considering yours.
Now, when I first heard that, of course, I think of a lot of things through the lens of music, right? So I'm thinking, like, don't look at Drake and his success and everything that he has and, like, not value, I guess, your life because you're not there yet. You got to be able to see the value in your own life and, see the blessings that you have and see the path that you're on and where you're going to go. But I guess when you guys kind of interpret it more as, like, relationships. And the whole like do you put your partner above yourself or do you put yourself first? I think generally, I put Sophia, my girlfriend, I try and put her needs before my own, because I feel like a lot of times she does the same. So I look out for her, she looks out for me, and in the end we both are covered. We both get everything that we need.
50-50.
Yeah, 50-50, right? But like you said, now our relationships are the same. So I think really you got to figure out what you want, and you got to find someone who's like on that same wavelength. So there's relationships out there where the girl is the breadwinner and she goes out in her corporate America job or whatever, and she's making she's making six figures and stuff, and you got like a stay-at-home dad who takes care of stuff. And like I saw a funny TikTok about it, and then the dude was like a day in the life of a stay-at-home dad or something like that. And
cooking, cleaning,
right? And and he really enjoyed his life. Like that's what he wanted, and he just wanted to stay at home and be a house husband, if you will. And so I think trying to say that every relationship should be 50-50 is hard, because everyone wants different things, and it also depends on like what 50-50 are you talking about. Are you talking about just making money, like you guys should be making 50-50 money, or are you talking like there's a lot of other things that goes into a relationship besides just making money?
Does the responsibility fall 50-50? Like if someone doesn't do something, is that also your fault too, because you weren't there to do it?
Yeah,
it's really a conversation you'd have to ask with whoever you're with.
Wait, Chris, is this the relationship podcast? Are we finally here?
I know we've been saying I know we've been saying that we're going to do it for a long time. And I know we keep giving you snips and cuts about some of our relationship life, but we'll do one soon. Let's not call this one though, because I think this is much broader to the sense of also our personal goals, which I'll kind of hit on later, and how much of our personal goals will we be willing to. And I have a story for that. Talking about our friend that was willing to go to med school to for his own personal growth. We'll talk about that here coming up here soon. But John, what is your initial thoughts? Because I know everyone else kind of spoke on it, but what's your initial thoughts?
I kind of agree with Zenon. I mean, I kind of looked at it from the music standpoint too. Like the example with Drake and everything. Like that's exactly what I imagined, I guess, when you said that.
Chris, what you think?
Let me. Yeah, I guess the better question is not what he thinks, but what was your original intent, or what was your original, I guess, lens of how you viewed that topic? So
when I first heard that, not really considering anybody else before yours, my initial thought was that's true, and I know that it sounds kind of cliche, and we hear it a lot, but I think that goes over our heads a lot of times. That a lot of times we're doing something, and life is short, and really, we say that a lot, and people say it, but you don't really live the way that you really think about it that way. But when it comes to living someone else's life, I mean, how many people do we know that's in college right now because their parents are making it, right? Or how many people are literally working going back to, I don't know, podcast 2 or podcast 3 when we talked about zombie jobs, but how many people are waking up every single day as a zombie doing the same thing that necessarily has nothing pertaining to what they want to do in life, right? So it's like considering someone else's life before theirs is, or their own is really, that's what I think about. My initial thought goes to it's overlooked, and that's very, very true that we need to really keep in mind something like that, because I do think that many of us start to do that when we start doing these things that other people push on us, and rather than what we actually truly want to do ourselves.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to go back to something y'all said earlier about putting your significant other's desires above yours.
Please, yeah.
I want to push back on that. I think that you're all liars, and I think that humans are inevitably too selfish.
We love this.
Oh yeah, right?
Let's start getting out the gloves and
so I think that the only reason in a relationship you are able to put your significant other's needs or desires above yours is because yours are being met. But in reality, it's always about you, and it's always been about you, because if you're not satisfied in the relationship, right, then you're probably going to leave. Or if you're not going to leave, you're going to be miserable, right? So are you really putting their desires and their needs over yours? Because wouldn't it come to a point to where even in terms of the relationship, they could want something that you don't want, but if you were really putting their desires and their needs over yours, then you would stay with them in the relationship, even though you don't want it. But in reality, it doesn't really work that way.
I guess it really goes down to how much love do you have for that person?
Yeah.
Because it could seem one-sided, and if one person is getting all the things met, I don't even think that person would even like them anymore.
Right. It's just kind of too easy.
Yeah.
Right? So do you think that there is, and just kind of open it up a little bit, do you all think that there is a rational level where someone could love someone so much that they're willing to I guess in a way, like, genuinely put their needs and desires over their own.
Yeah. I think you could.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, you could. I mean, like, say, like, it's just a regular guy, okay? I'm not trying to, like, rate anyone or anything, but it's just a regular guy. And he ends up meeting this beautiful girl, right? And then he has a shot with her. So he's like, yo, this is the greatest thing ever, you know? She's beautiful. She's everything, like, everything I need. I'm going to just think about her first, not me. Like, and then when you said that those girls or whatever, or boys or men, they get what they want and then they get bored and leave them, like, I guess that's it. Like, that's what I'm just trying to say. Is just like, I guess you can't put your needs beside and help their needs more if you really.
But I'm saying, like, where's the gray area? Like, that makes sense because, like, you're in love, right? Like, you're infatuated. Like, everything they do is perfect, right? Like, so it's like, but, like, the only reason that, at least I would argue, the only reason you're able to think so high in the clouds about that is because that's everything you want. So really, your desires are satisfied first, and then you're going back and saying, now I'll put you and your desires over everything else because really you are everything that I want. Right, so like really, like, you still, at least I'm arguing, you still put yourself first.
Okay, I see what he's saying. Okay, I agree with you.
I would say that, and believe it or not, 9 times, or not even, I don't know statistics on this, but more times than not, I would say that a lot of people in relationships are not necessarily putting their desires first. I would say that they're putting the other person's desires first because they don't even know their desires. So then a lot of times that they become miserable or they become, in this relationship that necessarily doesn't suit them justice, and I think that they don't know their desires, therefore they're fulfilling everything that they think that their partner wants because
that's all they know.
That's all that they know, right? And then they know that they want to keep that partner, therefore the partner's desires become their own, right? So then it's like you haven't really found your own desires and what you really want for yourself.
And I think that happens a lot of times, and there's kind of like a phrase that I've heard about it, and it's like where people like lose themselves in a relationship, right? Yeah. And they kind of forget who they are and kind of become I guess a new version of themselves that's like heavily influenced by their partner. But with all this talk about are you putting your desires first or the other person's desires, and like, I guess the word desires is very vague. Like, what exactly are we talking about? Because there's like small desires and there's big desires. So like throughout this this talk, what I'm thinking of is I guess smaller stuff. Like if I want to stay home and play video games, but Sophia wants to go out to the club, then I'm gonna say, okay, we can go out to the club tonight.
You might need an insurance bucket on this one. What you gonna do? If it's a Rocket League tournament, now what you gonna do?
It depends, like just like a regular like in-game tournament, or if it's like a tournament where I'm about to win money.
I'm talking. It's money. You on the line right now,
right?
You're probably gonna be up.
And Sophia got all her friends at the club,
right? FaceTiming her. Where you at?
Yeah, like she's at the club right now.
No. She's telling you, I need to be there right now, but I need you to take me.
I want you to go too.
But I want you to come with me.
Are you dropping your desires?
But the thing is
pressure on her.
Right.
But the thing is, that's where like the communication and like mutual understanding comes in a relationship. Because
good angle.
Because obviously I'm gonna explain to Sophia like, hey, like I'm in this tournament, and if I win, I could win like $1,000 or whatever.
Right, so I can take all y'all out now.
Right. I was like,
let me play this game for a couple hours.
I was like, if you would have let me know in like a couple days in advance, like we could have scheduled around this, but like,
that's fair.
I have a chance to win money. We're not winning money at the club. We can go to the club tomorrow.
You can just send her an Uber.
So you argue that both desires can be met with proper communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Nice. That's a really good answer.
Okay.
Which goes back to our podcast. Oh, I'm getting good at this. Podcast 6 I'm referring to, right? Is this 6 or 7?
This is 7.
This is 7. So referring to podcast 6, communication. We talked a lot about communication. Just to reiterate, do not take what someone's saying, but how, necessarily.
No, I think that's 7.
Is that 7?
The one we recorded last week was 7. This is 8. Right?
No way.
We just dropped 6. I put it on audio on
who knows? But go watch the last podcast of communication, because I think that would help a lot of you out there when it comes to this topic. But the next thing that I do want to bring up is moving this over from more of a relationship standpoint, but more of a realistic, holistic standpoint of do not, and what do you guys think on this, but do not negotiate your goals with anyone. Right? And when it comes to negotiation, that means you have your goals set. It's not necessarily if you want to do it and you ask for opinions, but it's like negotiating is allowing someone else to deter your goal to kind of reach their own. So I kind of want to bring up a story with this. We have a friend here, and I won't disclose because, you know, I'm not sure where they are with this situation, but and my friends are going to start hating me because I'm always bringing up these stories in the podcast. But no, so he has this decision coming up here very soon where he wants to go to med school. And he's currently in a relationship, and med school is something, med school in Florida to particularly, it's something that he's always dreamt of since, you know, a kid. He's always dreamt of going to Florida. He always wanted the life of, you know, going to med school there, being a doctor. But he's in a relationship, and his girlfriend wants to stay home. His girlfriend wants to stay here, but that's his one dream, that's his goal. And now the conversation that they've been butting heads on recently is, what do we do, right? Because she is wholeheartedly wants to stay here, and he really wants this goal to be going there, so he's not willing to negotiate that at all. So my thing is, kind of in that circumstance, is he wrong for not negotiating his goal? Because that's really what he wants. His goal was to always get there, but she came along on the side. So what do we think about do not negotiate your goal? What do we think about that?
If it's something that's like your number one that you've been thinking about, like if say like my number one would be music, a record label or something, right? That would be my overall goal. But like his overall goal, like that's what he's going to do and that's what he wants to do. I think his girl should, like, they should really talk about it, because I mean, like, he's already gonna do it, right? Like, he's already in the school and he's going to be a doctor.
Well, it's more of a discussion. I'm sure like applications and stuff come up now, but they have been talking about this, working it through before he makes that decision of what he's going to do. Okay. But yeah.
And did you say he's moving away to go?
And he would like to move to out of state to Florida med school.
Oh, I think he should do it. If they're really meant to be, then I think he should do it. I mean, I feel like they should really talk about it first, but like, she can always go down and visit, or he can always come up and visit. I don't know. Long distance relationships. I feel like if it's meant to be, then it's meant to be.
What do you guys kind of think on that?
I think this is one of those cases where this is a big desire, right? Like this is, you know, big decision time, and I guess part of it comes down to if she's willing to fold. I mean, we don't see. There's two sides to this story, right? Because you got to think about her, and she has her big dream, which apparently involves staying home
with him.
With him,
right?
So I guess it's like she can either stay home or be with him, right? Or he can like choose to stay home and he could have half his dream, so he could get the med school part without the Florida part, right? Or he could go do his med school in Florida without his girlfriend, unless she decides to move. But I mean, there's like, I guess we could break it into 4 different like things that could happen. But I guess it's really just whatever he wants more. Like, does he want this, you know, med school in Florida more, or does he want the future with his girl more? Or I guess they could try long distance.
But I feel like instead of like talking it out too, you could also like write it down yourself. Come up with plans yourself. Because when I had a kid, I wrote down 8 separate plans of how I would stay in school, or what would happen if I didn't stay in school. Like 8 separate plans. Like, do that yourself. Go up to his significant other and present them. Just like how I went up to my mother's and presented him, and everything, I guess, really just worked out.
Right.
So,
what do you think? Did any of those plans actually? Did it play out?
Yeah, like I wrote a plan just like this. Like right now, I guess like it worked out. I wasn't stressed out because I knew it was gonna happen.
But I guess my question is like, did things actually play out according to any of the plans, or did they just work out?
Like all the plans I wrote down, like of course not all of them worked out.
Right.
But the ones that like that I wrote down myself feeling comfortable with and reassuring myself knowing that I'm going to be okay with this plan. Like a couple of the plans mixed in together worked out.
Right.
So I feel like
20% here, 15% here. We got a 5% plan.
Yeah, I feel like he just gotta write down his own plan. Make sure he feels safe, like feels good with those specific like 6-7 plans that he has, and present them. And like that's the best way that you guys could really talk about it, because these are different options that they could explore. The long distance, come over every holiday, do something like that. Like you just gotta work it out. Right. But if she doesn't want to, then I mean it's not meant to be.
Now I do think you're going to speak on a point here, but I would like to take it from not only the example, but do also apply it to realistic, holistic scenario as well.
I think this is a very interesting balance. I think it'll ultimately depend on that individual's value systems and the things he values. But like for me, the first thing I think of is like, well, like you only have one life. Right? And so you better try to live as best as you can while you can, right? Like you genuinely don't know your last day. And then on another note, it's like, is this girl worth it? Is this girl worth any of the compromises that he's going to make on his dream?
Yeah.
And I think that like that's like the very
because if we're being real, if they're going to stay together throughout this,
that's right.
They're both going to have to make compromises.
That's right.
And so I guess, like you said, is it worth it to make the compromises? Is that person worth it? Right. And like you said, you only have one life. And theoretically, you only have one soulmate. So, I guess he has to, figure out like, is this his soulmate? So, you either give up your.
Who came up with that? Cupid, soulmate. Who came up with the word soulmate?
Right, one soulmate.
That's crazy.
I think it's it's been a concept that's been floating around throughout human history. But right, so you gotta figure out, right, is your soulmate or your big dream of being a doctor in Florida,
like which one you value more,
right?
Being a doctor. But I think to that specific scenario, I think that there is a way that they can work it out. It sounds like he didn't want to live in Indiana. It's not so much as go to school in Florida, but like he did not want to permanently live in Indiana. Okay, he wanted to permanently live in Florida.
Yeah,
right.
Gotcha.
So I was like, right. So I was like, well, like, what if like you go to med school somewhere closer, and then when you graduate, can you both agree to move to Florida, right? So you can practice medicine in Florida. And you say, maybe. So they'll have to kind of wiggle with it and see what kind of works for them. But
I was just going to ask Kabir on your initial thoughts. Do not negotiate your goals. What do you kind of think of that?
If I was in his shoes, I would definitely. Well, first. How long have they been dating? Because to be honest, the whole soulmate thing, if he's only in college, he hasn't lived long enough to say that's his only soulmate.
Well, I want you to kind of take it from a holistic approach. Like for Kabir, do not negotiate your goals. What do you think about that? Are there goals that you're willing to negotiate, and if so, under what circumstances would you say?
It really just depends. Because my goals now, I would not negotiate with them, like at all. I got all the fun out.
So if you, without diving too personal, but what can you at least list one of your goals? And
my goal is to be a part of this thing or have my own thing in this film, videography, in this type of field space, is to either have my own thing or be a part of this thing in like just a nice upper level, and have other people under me that I'm training to become the next person.
Okay. So,
but I wouldn't like negotiate it for no reason. Only because like I've came too far by myself. There's no one here. So it kind of goes back to tapping into his shoes. How long have they been together? Is this fairly new? Because to be honest with you, you're probably still in those early ages or those little
early stages.
Early stages of love where you think this is person.
It's 5 years.
They've been there 5 strong.
5 strong.
5 strong.
5 years.
How many times have they broken up? Because then that will tell if they're really gonna love.
I don't think they were that kind of couple. No. I think they were genuinely like those, like the 1 out of 20 high school couples that were like serious.
Yeah.
This is rare.
You know what I'm saying? like this in its nature is really
rare.
They
can figure it out.
And I think that's
they would have to.
They both need to write down what their dreams.
I do want to tie the knot with this.
All right, can I speak my?
All right, yeah, speak. Yeah.
So I think when it comes to making big decisions like this, right? You just have to work with what you've got, and what you've got is the present, right? You don't know for sure the future, so you gotta, try and envision the different possible futures the best that you can with the knowledge that you have, and you gotta figure out which future vision is most appealing. But go ahead.
But I mean, even generalizing this out, I think we're not acknowledging like how powerful like love is.
Oh,
or
100%. I was getting there.
Maybe let me not say love, but like the desire to be with someone.
Yeah.
That's very like that shit will blind you and your dreams, right? And have you push all that to the side just to go and target this person. So I mean, I don't know, like maybe because they've been together so long they can, rationally think, but I think in general, I think a lot of people would attest to putting their dreams to the side for their significant other.
Yeah. What kind of career would you
I think we're going into too much.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
I actually I wasn't quite done because you got different types of goals, right? So obviously there's career goals, but like I would say a more important goal for me, right, is just like when I'm, let's just say 30, right? I want to have, a house and a family, like a couple dogs and stuff, But like I want to have my shit together, if you will. And so, it doesn't necessarily matter what career I choose. And I've already changed my mind probably 3 times on what career. Because when you go back to like middle school or let's say middle school, and I wanted to be an architect, and then I learned what architects do, and I was like, maybe I don't want to be an architect. And I was like, I want to be an engineer. And then I get into college, and it's like, what? Like I could be an engineer, but I think I'd rather be, a financial guy and do financial stuff. So like right now, maybe, and before I go further, and one thing to stay the same, no matter how many times I've changed my career goal, is that goal of, having my house and my family and stuff when I'm like 30, 40 years old. And so I guess from our random person's perspective, he might change his mind and he might decide that he really hates Florida. It's too hot, too muggy, too many alligators.
Hurricane
right?
season.
But at the end of the day, he still wants to be with that person. So, and like you said, a lot of times people put their career dreams aside in order for love. So.
I do want to shout out with that example of really, particularly like going into how we kind of settled that and how we kind of came to our consensus of that our desires our goals go hand in hand with our sacrifices, and it's kind of like one of those seesaws. How much are you willing to sacrifice to reach your goal? But then also, how much are you willing to sacrifice on your goals to, which usually takes a higher sacrifice, right? Mm-hmm. So then that's kind of how it kind of works, and you got to find that happy balance between your goals and how much you're willing to sacrifice for them. So kind of going on to the next one, I do want to say, going back to our original point, do not consider someone else's life to where you stop considering yours. But now I kind of want to talk about like what do you guys think on, because this is one thing that I was kind of thinking about as well when I was listening to this podcast. It's like you have to demand your goals, like, and it sounds like the connotation of demand really sounds like it perceives as something negative, right? When you demand something, it's almost like you're being aggressive or you're being, but usually when you demand something, those who demand usually get it if they do it effectively. So what do you guys kind of think about making a demand of your goals? And usually they fail because your demands fail because you think of someone else more than yourself. But then when you demand something and you don't think about anybody else, because think about it, when you demand and you fail, it's usually because you allow someone else to deter you somewhere a different way. Mm-hmm. But when you demand something and you get it, usually those people are the ones that are thinking about their self more than they're thinking about their own,
and you go
life.
back to being selfish.
So what's the question, like getting?
So yeah. So what do you guys think about? What do you guys think about like demanding your own, like what you want in your life, rather than just allowing it to flow, right? What do you guys think about demanding?
I mean, I think if you're taking, I guess, that attitude of demanding, like everyone has the power to get wherever they want. So you could demand your way and get your laser focus and you can climb your way to the top, but that doesn't guarantee you'll be happy.
Yeah, true. You kind of leave yourself, or you kind of don't even, you just negate like that whole area of sympathy, and you just don't even, is it sympathy or empathy? It's when you actually like care about the other person's feelings. You kind of like push that aside just to get yourself ahead. And once you get,
well, are you doing that inherently?
If you're if it's your loved ones.
Okay, so like maybe like when I hear like demand, like I think like is it okay to like very intentionally create a life for yourself?
Yes.
Like in a way that like this is how I'm creating it. I'm not taking no for an answer. Like
exactly.
I will have like I'm going to get this. Like I'm going to literally hand tailor and build a life.
Usually
that,
those are the ones that
I
do
want
it
for myself.
Those are the ones that do it. So what do we think about that?
So are you arguing?
I'm saying like, say someone comes in to your life and they're asking like, just I need your help with this real quick.
So
can you help me out?
So what if you're on the other side of the person who's trying to create or hand tailor their life? Like, and then what if they're like objectifying you in a way?
I mean, not just objectifying, just trying to get your attention off that. So like, that happens to most people that have like a straightforward shot or mindset. A whole bunch of distractions come in their lives and say, "Hey, can you, like family? Can you help me out with this? Can you drive me here? Can you take me?" Like all those kind of come into your life. Like if you just have that demanded mindset, you kind of just push all that away.
And I will say, going back to it, they're demanding of you, right? So then they don't care about your feelings. They care about theirs. They're demanding to get you to do what they want for them.
So they can hand tailor how they want.
So they're being demanded in that case.
Well,
if you're being demanded,
I wouldn't say they're demanding. They're more so just asking.
But that's
and
demanding.
Inquiring. Say, hey, can I rely on you for this real quick?
Demanding is a set of words. And so, like, when someone was demanding, they're demanding for a favor of you.
Well, I think the word demand has a certain connotation.
That's what I'm saying.
Kind of a negative one, right?
It feels forceful.
But I think the context we're using it in is more of a don't settle, right? So if you have a certain dream, like, get that dream and like chase it and don't settle for less. I think it's more the context that.
But would you like blind yourself from how do you blind yourself from those people that trying to like family members that try to get into your, just knock you off your track, but not keep you away from making your goal, but just trying to like, get you to step off it for a second to focus on this.
You gotta reassure them. I feel like if you tell people over and over like I'm doing this and I'm doing this like this, and you have that attitude, people are gonna just know that. Like, okay, we're like, let's not.
That's not healthy though. Right?
But those are some of the people that are millionaires. Like they work their ass off. They're very.
You can be a millionaire.
I think there's a balance.
Right, there definitely is a balance.
I think there's a balance. I think that like you can be this driven and like this is my goal in life, and I think that like you can still go to your family cookouts and you can still take your little cousin from football practice and where they need you, and like you can still be focused. Like I guess like if I'm hearing you correctly, like what I'm hearing you kind of articulate is that like the favors and the things that your family may ask of you, you may see as distractions, right? Because they're not real, like they're not on this like laser beam focus towards creating the life.
They don't see the vision that I'm trying to see.
So like when you're talking about the role of family members, are you more so talking about them asking you to take your little cousin to football practice, or are you more so talking about them telling you like you should be in college, or like which job or which internship are you going to take this summer? And you're telling them, I'm going to pursue music. I'm going to be an artist, right? Like, this is what I'm doing. So, like, are you...
It's which more so just all the favors. It's both.
Yeah.
It's spend time.
Yeah.
Give me your energy real quick, or can you help me out with this? Oh, when are we going to get this done?
Right.
Like, my brother's been asking, like, multiple times, are we ever going to tackle the garage? Are we going to tackle the deck? Are we going to, fix up the basement? Renovate the house? And it's like, I haven't put no energy into that, and I've been there for, like, 3 or 4 months already. Only because, like, all my time is to this. It's like, I go to work. On my off days, I'm Wabash, or I'm in another college. I'm filming for, like, 3 or 4 hours a day, like... And I make that known, but it still comes into me, into my mindset and on my track. but I balance it enough. But every once in a while, I just know like I'm slipping, you know. And having that demanded mindset, I would in my head, I would literally be cutting out all my family members from my life, and the last thing I want to do is be at the top with no family, or be at my goal with no family.
I was gonna say, you know how I get, because when you get to the top, all the family come back. So,
and I wouldn't want that. I would rather them see me happy instead of see me and asking.
So when it comes to demanding as a whole, I guess the question that I really want to ask here, just to bring back up, to kind of get our last consensus on it, but a lot of successful people do demand what they want with a set of words. But what I kind of want to strive at is, and not to say that you're being a pushover, no, that's not what I'm getting at, but a lot of people that don't necessarily get what they want in life are those who allow their demands to be ran over by someone else's. Right? So someone else's demands are stronger than yours, and I don't want to take this in a literal sense where it's like they're arguing, no, but it's like if I say I want the manager job, and I'm working, or I'm messaging, I'm talking to the manager, I'm talking to the CEO every so often to get that job, but someone else's demands it so much that they're willing to pay the manager, right? And you allow someone else's demands to be higher than yours and take that spot. So they're so when it comes to demanding, many times those who make it in life to where they want to be, they're the ones who fulfill their go hard at their demands, right? So I really want it, I'm going to demand, I'm not letting anyone deter me.
So they're driven.
They're very driven. They use their words as power.
I feel like you also like there's, even on the side of music of it, there's a lot of rappers to be like, oh, I surround myself with people who have the same headspace as me. I've lost friends that did not have the same headspace as me, and I left them in the dust. I cut off those relationships because if you're not on my team and you're not like wanting to be successful like me, like, then I'm just gonna cut. Like, I'll keep you on, but people that are not in that headspace, you just cut you off. Like, I feel like that's also something to add in that demanding. Like, you surround yourself with those people and you'll get there.
Right.
But you got to cut off the people that don't like.
Can you live with that guilt of leaving them behind, though?
I'm sure if you're that demanding of it.
All right, we're gonna say that one. We're gonna say that one for another podcast because we did talk about that one before, and I think when it comes to a point of leaving people in our past life behind and getting, I do want to talk about that more. But
they're arguing two different points, though. I think that is
he's
talking about
different.
Friends. He's talking about your family members.
But I think they're along the same lines, because sometimes a lot of those friends come from the same place that you met your family.
Well,
right?
but you didn't meet your family. You were given your family. Right?
You were almost like you were given friends too.
Nah,
I would say so.
You can pick and choose your friends, but like I guess
let's save this one. Let's save this one. Let's save this one because I would say differently. I would say differently, but no. When it comes to demanding what you want in life, do we feel like that is something that we need to do as people? Right, or to really make it to where we want, or are we allowing people to push their demands over ours and allow other people to get there?
It's just that type of person.
Right, I think it's important to know.
I know,
what
but
you want.
It sucks to be that type of person. Because a lot of times those are people that hurt by someone else getting what they want. All right, but
yeah, like I was saying, I think it's important. Like, first of all, in order to be driven, you have to know what you want. Right.
I agree.
So step one, know what you want, and step two, stay firm in that. Like, it's okay to to budge a little bit, to sacrifice a little bit, but at the end of the day, right, you want to keep to that goal. Like, you don't want to completely give up on what you truly want because it's not easy, or because someone else said it's gonna be too hard, so they're telling you can't do it, or someone else, maybe your significant other, is just like really doesn't want you to do it. But if it's something that you truly want, and you just gotta stay firm to it. And like, I guess more what I was trying to say, if you want to get that thing that you want, you have to stay firm to it. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, I feel like just like that type of mindset could be ruthless sometimes. So
yeah,
just cut a lot of people off like that.
In a religious aspect, some people would see that as the devil taking over you because you have that type of ego and mentality. Just And it could get worse along the way because not only do you want to explain to them, like, no, I'm not really being like this. I'm just really focused on myself. That will also create more negative and bad energy and then, with the loved ones.
And when you make it there and you get it, you realize, like, it didn't really matter. Like, I'm not as happy as I was when I didn't notice I had everything that I needed. I don't know. It just
hits
it's hard.
That's where step one comes in. You got to know what you want.
Yeah.
I think Malik been sitting on this for a while. So
I disagree with all of it. I'm not willing to give humans that much. Like, and I say humans, like, really, like, going off of my own experiences. Like, desires change, wants change, goals change. Sure. Like, all of it changes. Yeah. Just when you think you have a solid plan on what you're gonna do, like, you know, with the next 20 years of your life, like something hits you and it changes. So I mean, I think the most I also get very weary like when people say like the most successful people or like the world's best billionaires did this and did that. I think what they did was they were different, and I think they were themselves. And some of them may have had platforms that allowed them to get to other places, right? And all that other context that kind of matters. But really, I think it boils down to like them being different and them not being afraid to be themselves. If there was a clear book about how to be successful, everybody would be successful. So that's why I get very weary when it's like, do this and you'll be successful, or do this and you'll be successful. Like, this is the key to success. The key to success, I think, is being yourself. Yeah. And I think listening to yourself. If you want to change, everybody around. Some of the world's most successful people told them that they were being irrational and they were being wrong. But you know what? They stuck to themselves. Trust your own gut. Like, follow your own, what you feel is right. If that changes, allow it to change. But be yourself. Be bold. Be great.
Yeah. I think that's a good point to wrap it up, because I do want to that's another topic for another week. But I do think that it was one thing that I always done is like take pieces from different individuals and make a compilation of one. And do we think that's a successful mindset to have, right? Rather than or also see what someone else did that wasn't the right way, and then take a compilation of what everyone did that was wrong and make that into what you do, right? So then a murky path of not knowing where you're going, but you know you're not doing the wrong things, right? But that's a podcast for another day. But I do want to take this time to kind of wrap it up. I do want to thank our guest, John, for being on here with us, as well as allowing us to use these beautiful sofas and having a nice conversation over a counter table here. I wish the fire was lit. We would have been able to roast marshmallows and s'mores over the podcast for you guys. But the major key for today, I do want, when wrapping up, is just ask yourself the question: Are you willing to give up your own? And help me out here. What was it? Are you willing to give up your own? Are you willing to give up your own life, right, for someone else's? Or are you ready to, really give up your own life for someone else's goals and desires? And we kind of talk about that a lot throughout. Closing out, Z, you want to give it to him first? November
5th.
All right, you heard him. November 5th. You're gonna keep saying it. Do we have a name yet?
The beginning.
It's coming out November 5th. John, let them know what's going on with you. This is kind of how we close out every podcast.
I guess I have a couple songs, but I'm choosing on which ones to do a music video by the end of next month. Okay. So we'll see how that goes.
And where can they find you?
Yeah.
They can find me on SoundCloud. I'm not on any other platforms right now, but I have signed up. I'm going to be on Spotify and Apple soon. So yeah. But I'm going to be dropping my music video on YouTube. I don't have a YouTube account though, so I'll probably have to make one.
Yeah. We'll get it all right. Next, Malik, the glorious quote. 4-letter words.
As always, be bold, be great.
You heard it from the man himself. All right, Kabir, what's up?
Well, you don't only live once. You live every single day, so live it to the fullest.
I like that.
And I do want to say, Kabir, we did get excellent film yesterday at Ball State University. Can you kind of want to tell them?
We did 16 people in time span about 3 hours.
We be working,
and we knocked them out. And we actually gave out some of the
cards.
Yeah, the cards.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of collaboration that's going on there. So just really trying to help the next generation be great. And we're I was gonna throw something in there, you know what I'm saying? But I also want to mention, I know Kabir mentioned our clothing line will be up soon. We have a lot of different brands and a lot of different clothing lines. Now, some of you guys saw a look on that. Have you seen some of that stuff?
The merch is
What do you guys think
fire.
about that stuff? Because I don't want to toot the own horn on this one, but I do think that What's Your Story Vlog will be the #1 clothing line. I'm calling it the vision, the #1 clothing line in the next year. So what do you guys think about the designs and stuff?
Man, I hope it is.
You'll see soon enough.
I haven't seen them yet.
We'll have a Devious Sex colorway.
Right,
We'll have a
different
Zeno.
design collabs.
Zeno, but yeah. So by the time you guys see this, I'm not sure if the Ball State film will be out yet, but we will be looking to go around to different schools, and the merch will be out soon. Stay tuned in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have that out for you too. And I think that's all. So we'll see you next week.
Peace.
out.